Welcome to Sentences, Lesson 3. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to write better compound sentences using so, for, yet, and nor.
Before we start, let's look at the lesson outline for lesson 3. First, we will look at what is a compound sentence. Now, we did this in the first and second lesson, but we do need to review it. Second, we're going to look specifically at when we should use so, for, yet, nor. Maybe you remember these are part of the Fanboys. And we will review what all the fanboys are. Then we will look in more detail at how to use nor, because it's a little bit complicated. And then finally, practice. We will practice using so, for, yet, nor in compound sentences. All right, let's begin.
Let's do a quick quiz. If you watched the second lesson, this should be easy. Here are two sentences. One of them is a compound sentence. One of them is a simple sentence. Which one's compound? Which one's simple?
So sentence 2 is the compound sentence. We know this because we can see two independent clauses. How many? Two independent clauses. Mary is short is the first independent clause. Kate is tall is the second, and it's connected by a comma and but. They are called independent clauses because they don't need another clause. I can just say Mary is short, or I can just say Kate is tall. So that's why we say independent clause. The first sentence, that's a simple sentence because we only have one clause. We have one independent clause. Mary and Kate, this is a compound subject, are happy. If you forget what a compound subject is, maybe you can watch Lesson 2 again. Anyway, it's time to explore compound sentences a little more. Okay, so let's review the structure of compound sentences. Just want to make sure you really understand. So here we have Mary is short, but Kate is tall. You can see Mary is the subject, is short is the predicate, and this is one independent clause. Then we have comma, but. But is one of the coordinating conjunctions, one of the fanboys. And then we have another independent clause because we can see Kate, which is the subject, and is tall is the predicate. So two independent clauses connected by a comma and a coordinating conjunction. In lesson 2, we looked at and, but, and or. But now we're going to focus on other coordinating conjunctions from the fanboys. So in this lesson, we're looking at for, nor, yet, and so. For shows a reason. It's similar to because. For example, I haven't had lunch. For, I haven't had time. So you can see the reason, okay? So for introduces a reason. Nor, this one is tricky. We'll look at it more later, but it introduces another negative statement. It's kind of like a negative and. I didn't have lunch. Nor did I have breakfast. This means I didn't have lunch and I didn't have breakfast. And yet shows a surprising or unexpected result, similar to although. I haven't had lunch, yet I am not hungry. This is unexpected because if you haven't had lunch, usually you're hungry. And lastly, so. So shows an expected result, similar to therefore. I haven't had lunch, so I am hungry. We expect you are hungry if you haven't had lunch. Okay? So let's quickly review the fanboys. We have for, which is to help us show a reason, okay? So in a compound sentence, we use for to show a reason. I am sunburnt for, okay, we need a reason. Why am I sunburnt? Remember, it's similar to because. I am sunburnt for I didn't put on sun cream, okay? So for is similar to because. We don't use for too much actually, but it can be very useful, okay? And shows one action maybe comes after another action, or it helps us add one thing to another. And we always use and. It's very, very, very common. Here is an example. Kate studies at university and she hopes to graduate this year. So I'm just adding more, okay? Nor presents another negative idea. Nor is quite tricky. We're going to talk about that more later. But here, John doesn't know how to ski, nor does he know how to swim. Now, this actually means John doesn't know how to ski and he doesn't know how to swim. We will talk about this more later because the structure for nor is a little bit strange. You can see in this sentence, the structure is strange. But shows contrast and shows differences. So I don't like cold weather, but, can you guess? But I love hot weather, right? You can see the contrast. We have contrast between like and love. Or presents an alternative or an option or maybe a choice, okay? I will buy new pants, or, can you guess? I will buy new pants, or I will buy new shoes. So I will buy one of these things. I use or to show there's an alternative, okay? Yet shows an unexpected or a surprising result, okay? So when we use yet, we are introducing something we don't expect. John studied really hard, yet, he studied hard, yet he failed the test. I use yet because I don't expect this. If John studies really hard, then I imagine he will pass, not fail. So is the opposite. So is an expected result or effect, okay? It's more expected. So here, Jack studied hard. So, can you guess? So, he passed the test. You see, it's the opposite to yet. Jack studied hard, so he passed the test. These are the fanboys. These are coordinating conjunctions that help us connect ideas in compound sentences. Later in the course, we will look at other types of connectors to help us connect our ideas in different types of sentences. But it's very important you understand the fanboys because these give you a very good foundation. Because later, you're going to do more complex things, more complex sentences, and more complex connectors. As I said before, nor introduces another negative statement. We don't use it that much, but it's sometimes useful in your writing. It's kind of like a negative and. Let's look at the example. I didn't have lunch, nor did I have breakfast. So I can say, and I didn't have breakfast. This is the same. So we have two negative statements in this compound sentence. I didn't have lunch, and I didn't have breakfast. Instead of and, I can say nor did I have breakfast. But you can see the structure is different. You can see that I say nor did I instead of and I didn't. So I changed didn't to did, and I put did before I. So I changed the order. So we need to look at this structure a little bit more because I think it's very important to understand this structure. Let's look at the structure more closely. Here is the example. I didn't have lunch, comma, nor did I have breakfast. So nor is the coordinating conjunction, but then after nor, you can see an auxiliary verb, a positive auxiliary verb. And then we have the subject and then the verb, or the subject and the predicate. This is the independent clause. So after nor, you need to put a positive auxiliary verb. This is the structure. It's very strange. It's kind of inverse. So if you look here, Mark doesn't like soccer, comma, and he doesn't like rugby. Because these are negative statements, I can use nor does he like rugby. This means the same. Nor does. Instead of and he doesn't, I can say nor does he. Okay, can you see? The order is different and the auxiliary verb becomes positive. Okay, let's look at one more example. So here we have two negative statements. I haven't been to Spain and I haven't been to France. What's the auxiliary verb we need if we use nor? Just think about that. What's the auxiliary verb? Have. Because we change haven't to have, and we say nor have I. You see, we change the order. Okay? So it looks strange, but if you practice, it's not too bad. Okay, it's time for a quiz, I think. So I'm going to give you a little quiz, and you're going to try to use the correct coordinating conjunction. So, for, yet, or nor. All right, let's try. Okay, so we have two independent clauses. Jack went to the hospital. He didn't feel well. We need to connect these independent clauses with so, for, yet, or nor. So we have to consider, is it an expected result? Is it a reason? Is it an unexpected result? Is it two negative statements? Well, I think he didn't feel well is a reason. That's the reason he didn't go to the hospital. So we should say for, right? For. All right. I'm going to let you try yourself now. You have 10 seconds to answer. So if you think you need more time, just pause the video. Okay. Good luck. Okay, now it's time for writing practice. You will write compound sentences. First, let's look at an example. So you can see two independent clauses. It might rain later. We should take an umbrella. Also, you can see a conjunction in brackets, for. You need to write one compound sentence and you need to use the conjunction in the brackets. You should change the order of the clauses if it's necessary. So let's have a look at the answer. We should take an umbrella, comma, for it might rain later. In this example, I changed the order of the clauses because it might rain later is the reason. And I should use for with a reason. Okay, it's your turn now. I'm going to give you a 20-second time limit. And then you need to pause the video if you think you need more time. Okay. Do it!